So going over your sheet here, we had an interesting little tidbit that you snuck in here. And since I like to start talking about the guest first, you're a lawyer by training, but got into writing. How does that transition work?
Yeah, well, it's kind of been something that I did a little bit on the side over the last few years. Um, if you're familiar with National Novel Writing Month, where folks try to write 50,000 words of a new novel in the month of November, I figured I tried to give that a shot a few years ago, and from there, I made it work. But then I really kind of decided that I liked it, so I kind of kept at it. Sold or a couple of short stories published here and there, and I've just kind of kept it up because I enjoy doing it.
Now, I've never heard of National Novel Writing Month, but I'm curious why they choose November. Because like I know here in my household, November is when we're gearing up, doing all the extra work for Christmas, and there's no time for extra writing that month.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure why they chose November, and so you've got Thanksgiving when, yeah, like you say, there's a lot of family stuff going on, and it's 30 days rather than 31 days. So I'm not exactly sure why they went with that, but it kind of increases the degree of difficulty, I guess.
Just make it as difficult as it's possibly
Yeah.
going to be. They could have chose February for that month too. Like,
Yeah,
it
true.
only happens on leap years or whatever it is. So you got 28 days. Well, right on. Well, tell me a little bit about Silence and Starsong magazine. Also, you start doing this novel writing month, but that's a big jump to going from novels to putting out a magazine.
hmm I was in a group chat with some of the other folks who are involved, and we'd be talking about weird stuff that would come up in the news, and every now and again somebody would say that would make a good story for my novel, or that's a good idea for a novel, and we kind of joked about it for a while. And then after a little while, we said, well, actually, we should try to actually write some of these stories and put some of them down, and we can just, trade them back and forth. And from there, it kind of morphed into, well, if we're really going to do this, why don't we take the stuff that we write and actually, you know, put it together and try to make a magazine out of it? And from there, we decided, well, we might not have enough ideas to fill a full thing by ourselves, so why don't we, um, you know, throw the idea out there and see if some other folks would be willing to contribute and just kind of see what happens. Um, and kind of the idea was we had all really enjoyed there's a set of books by C.S. Lewis. And they're probably less familiar to most folks. Most folks know the Chronicles of Narnia, or maybe they've heard of the Screw Tape Letters, but maybe fewer have heard of his. It's either called the Space Trilogy or the Ransom Trilogy. I think Lewis actually called it his Planet books. So, Out of the Silent Planet, Paralandra, and That Hideous Strength are the three book titles, and we had really enjoyed those.
My wife's been trying to get me to read them with her for years now.
Okay, you should.
I plan on it. Just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, I know how that is. The to be read list is ever growing and never shrinking. So I know. And so we kind of enjoyed those and wanted to tell some stories kind of in that same vein, and really didn't see a lot of other, at least at the time, we had not found a lot of other authors that were kind of writing those same kind of stories. So we decided, well, if nobody else is doing it and we want to see it done, then we should just go ahead and do it. And that was also one of the motivating factors.
I find that greed is such a good motivator. I can't tell you how many awesome things are started because I just wanted more of this, so I thought I'd go and make more of it,
Yeah.
or make it so other people would make more of it. Ultimately, I used to say it on the show. One of the reasons I started the podcast was to help people be able to monetize what they do, so that I can listen to more of the stuff I want to hear,
There
and
you
it's
go.
easier for them to keep going if they're getting paid to do it.
hmm
So I'm curious. there seems to be more and more magazines popping up. How long have you guys been doing this?
Let's see. I think the first official thing we did was to create a Twitter account to kind of get involved in the you know, hashtag Iron Age kind of conversations and start things that way. So we started that last summer, and then try to start generating some interest was to do these flash fiction contests. So we come up with a prompt and say, hey, send us a story, 1,000 words or less, and then we put those up on the website and try to identify authors and readers both that way. And then last December, we took submissions and got several of those. And since it was my first time trying to, lay out a magazine, help with editing, work with authors, that kind of thing, it took us a little while, but eventually we got all the stories read, picked the ones that we liked the best, and put that out in April. So it actually came out on April 1st, which was not intentional.
Okay.